We have an extensive supply list today. We need an empty cereal box, a pair of scissors, a hot glue gun, some construction paper, including white. We also need washable paint, paintbrushes and sponges for painting, a pencil, and some glue. We also need some rocks, some shells, and some other little things you might find on the beach, including a bucket of sand or bits of gravel or dirt, something to look sandy in your box. And finally, for our fish, you can use just about anything you want. We won't use Model Magic or Play-Doh, but you'd be welcome to do that. We're going to use cardstock style paper, and you'll also need either thread or embroidery floss to hang them from your box. Hi, today we're making fish aquariums. The first thing you're going to do is take your cereal box and disassemble it. Run your finger up the seam, open it up, and you're going to find where the box is connected. It is glued together right here. I'm going to run my finger along that seam and open it up. You're going to flip your box back the other way so that the outside of your aquarium does not have the print on it, like that. Before we glue our box back together, reassembling it, we want to open up the box and cut a big rectangle out of one of the big sides. This is going to be the front of your aquarium where you would see your fish. So I'm using my scissors to carve open the box. And I'm going to dig my scissors in there, into the table, not into my fingers, and cut along those lines. The next step is to reassemble it with hot glue. You're going to run the hot glue down all of the seams that they would have at the factory, but in reverse. Next, we're going to make the ocean. This piece of paper is about the same size as our cereal box. Ezra's going to take his crayons and draw the ocean water. After coloring the ocean, we're going to paint the ocean. We have a bit of poster paint that's got extra water in it to make it easier to paint all over the paper.
Wow, I can see the white.
See, I told you. Paint the whole page edge to edge. While our ocean painting is drying, we're going to use some construction paper, half a sheet, and some green watery paint and make seaweed. It starts out as just one piece of yellow paper, and we're going to either rip it or cut it into longer strips and glue that into our box eventually. Now we have two pieces of paper drying, and we're spending this time with a sponge brush, painting a piece of construction paper with a bit of orange. Dab, 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 Ezra. This piece of paper will be used to cut up into starfish, seahorses, maybe even some jellyfish or something like that. Now we've got three pieces of paper drying. Next, we've got purple, white, brown paint, and a sponge, and we're sponge painting maybe a rock pattern onto the leftover cardboard from our original cardboard box. Our painting is done and they're dry. We're going to take this blue piece of paper, we're going to flip it over, line up our box, trace it, and then we're going to cut it out. The blue paper is our background. So Ezra is gluing the whole inside of the cereal box, and then we're going to stick the blue background inside there. Next, we're going to draw some seaweed on the back of the green paper and some coral on some of the orange paper. I'm going to cut them out and glue them inside our box. I helped Ezra draw some coral. Now he's cutting. Ezra has drawn, and now he's cutting out little starfish and other little creatures from his leftover orange paper. The next step is to grab your glue and start placing some of your cut pieces into the background. I took some of our scraps and started filling in the sides. There and there. We're cutting our brown cardboard into rock shapes, and we're going to glue them into the very bottom of our aquarium. Covering the inside bottom, we don't really need to know nutrition facts in our aquarium.
Yeah. I don't.
We cut way more rocks than we need so that we could really cover all of the bottom. They're overlapping in quite a few places. We took our glue and spread it around. Next, Ezra's going to take sand from our sand bucket, sprinkle it on the glue, and then we'll shake it out and the sand will stick to the glue and we'll have leftovers to send it back outside. Next, we shake it around just a little bit. And now Ezra's going to dump the sand back in the bucket. After the sand, we glue in our rocks and our shells and our other found objects. That looks great, Ezra. What's next?
Fish.
While I was collecting our supplies for our fish, Ezra took some tin foil and made a clam.
And then I have a little blue.
It's in there, deep inside there. There's a little tin foil pearl in there. Ezra is drawing fish on our colored cardstock. After cutting, we're going to poke a hole in the top of each of our fish and thread our thread or our embroidery floss through. Then we will poke holes up here in the top of our box and thread the other end of our fish thread up through the top and tie knots up here on the top edge. Our fish are tied onto strings. We've drawn dots, some closer to the back, some closer to the front, some in the middle, and all the way across from side to side for our fish to hang from. Next, I'm going to turn these dots into holes and hang the fish through them. Here we are. Ezra is taping down all of the little threads on the top so that they don't pull through. Some of them are hanging nice and high. Some of them are hanging a little lower. And there we go.